Isn't that exactly the same?
It should.
I mean, it's not exactly the same. It's not the same incident, but it's an elderly man coming through out of an illness.
Check this out from the televised mental institution known as MSNBC. This is Joy Reid explaining to us that Trump getting shot and having part of his ear blown off, it's the exact same thing as Biden getting COVID.
The question that I have on that, these two men are both elderly. Donald Trump is an elderly man who, for whatever reason, was given 9 seconds to take a iconic photo op during an active shooter situation. Weird situation. We'll figure that out one day. But his survival of that and bouncing right back and going right to his convention is being conveyed in the media world as a sign of strength. This current president of the United States is 81 years old and has COVID. Should he be fine in a couple of days? Doesn't that convey exactly the same thing? That he's strong enough, older than Trump, to have gotten something that used to really be fatal to people his age. So if he does fine out of it and comes back and is able to do rallies, isn't that exactly the same?
It should.
I mean, it's not exactly the same. It's not the same incident, but it's an elderly man coming through out of an illness.
It should.
I'm running out of adjectives with this lady. Like, she cannot believe that. So I don't know what that is. Like, that is just like willful ignorance. You're a total sellout. The hair dye is leaking into your brain. I don't know exactly what brings that type of thought process about. But if you are comparing, first off, no one thinks of Donald Trump and thinks elderly. He is of a certain age. But the man had part of his ear blown off, immediately jumped to his feet, demanded that the Secret Service allow him to put his shoes back on because they knocked his shoes off when they tackled him, got up there, blood dripping down his face, literally into his mouth, and he's chanting, "Fight, fight, fight." He's signaling to the crowd as they're rushing him into the car to get him to the hospital. He then literally is now sitting for 3 days in a giant stadium with all of the delegates and everything else with a raucous crowd, all because of the ideas that he has pushed forward. He has completely transformed the Republican Party. You might have whatever your frustrations are with him. You might not like the guy, but the idea that he's elderly and that, you know, that there's somehow a conspiracy because they were able to take that picture in those 10 seconds or whatever, it's just so crazy. And that's in stark contrast to Joe Biden, who we're all seeing. We showed you the video yesterday at the deli, and he looks confused as he's standing in front of the bologna and he can't finish his sentence and everything else. And coming back from COVID after you've had your 27 shots is not exactly the same thing as coming back from having someone try to blow your brains out. Hey, don't click away just yet, because today's video is brought to you by our friends at 1775 Coffee. Guys, instead of waking up tomorrow morning and drinking your mold-infested, big corporation-owned, woke ideology coffee that's probably making you sick from the pesticides it's sprayed with, try Rumble's 1775 Coffee. Support freedom of speech and build a parallel economy that actually values you. Go to 1775 Coffee right now and pick up your first bag. Use code Rubin to save 10% off your first order.